Picture this. You're driving home late on a quiet, tree-lined suburban road. The last echoes of laughter from your friend's dinner party still linger in your mind. It's just you, the rhythmic thump of the tires on the asphalt, and the dim glow of the dashboard. Suddenly, without warning, your rearview mirror explodes with a violent, strobing cascade of red and blue. Your stomach tightens. Adrenaline, that cold, electric shot, hits your bloodstream. You carefully signal, pull over onto the gravel shoulder, and kill the engine. The silence that follows is deafening, broken only by the crunch of boots on gravel as the officer approaches. He's polite, professional. A minor infraction. Maybe you drifted slightly over the center line, where your registration sticker is a month out of date. The exchange is routine. License, registration, proof of insurance. You hand them over, your movements deliberate. Then he asks the question, "For my safety and yours, do you have any weapons in the vehicle?" You a lawful concealed carry holder. Your firearm, a Glock 19, is secured in a locked holster clipped to your hip, hidden by your jacket. Your permit is in your wallet. You believe in honesty. "Yes, officer, I have a legally owned firearm on my right hip. I have a valid license to carry." You assume transparency is your shield. He nods. "Okay, for officer safety, I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle, and I'm going to secure that firearm for the duration of this stop." Your mind races. This feels invasive, but you comply, stepping out slowly, hands in view. He expertly, but firmly, removes your firearm from its holster, unloads it, and places it on the roof of his cruiser. The weight you're accustomed to carrying is gone, replaced by a vulnerable, hollow feeling. But it doesn't end there. As he hands you back your documents, his posture changes. The tone shifts from procedural to probing. "Mind if I ask where you're headed tonight? Can you tell me what you were doing at that house? You don't have anything illegal in the car, do you? No large amounts of cash, drugs, anything like that?" His eyes aren't just on you anymore. They're scanning the interior of your car, the gym bag on the back seat, the closed console, the shadowy floor of the passenger side. Tell you what, if you've got nothing to hide, you won't mind if I just take a quick look. It'll speed things up. A cold dread mixes with the adrenaline. This has nothing to do with a lane violation. He's fishing. He's asking for a consent search. Every instinct tells you to say no, but the pressure is immense. He's standing there, your unloaded firearm in his possession, his partner perhaps watching from the squad car. You feel trapped between asserting your rights and the terrifying prospect of this escalating into something far worse. The wrong word, the wrong move, could transform this from a simple ticket into you in handcuffs in the back of his car, facing charges you can't even comprehend. What do you do? What can you do? Lopez. For the next several minutes, I'm going to dissect this exact scenario, layer by layer, from the legal principles to the tactical psychology of the traffic stop. This isn't just about the law in books. It's about the law on the side of the road, where it matters most. We'll talk about the officer's authority, the shocking breadth of what courts allow them to do, and the precise, calm script you can use to protect every single one of your constitutional rights without turning a tense situation into a dangerous one. So let's jump right in. Part 1. The hard reality of officer safety and firearm security. The bad news, and we must start here, is that the officer is very likely legally justified in temporarily disarming you. "Mark, this is America. The Second Amendment. He can't just take my property." I hear you. I share that visceral reaction. But we must separate our philosophy from the current legal reality as applied by the courts during a Terry stop, which is what a traffic stop is. To be painstakingly clear, no, an officer cannot permanently seize your firearm without cause. But the standard for temporarily securing it for officer safety is notoriously low. The precedent comes from cases like Pennsylvania versus Mims and Michigan versus Long. If an officer has a reasonable suspicion that you are armed and presently dangerous, they may take steps to neutralize the threat. The key phrase is reasonable suspicion. It's far below probable cause. It's an articulable hunch based on specific facts. And here's where it gets concerning. What constitutes dangerous in this context? Let's move beyond theory. Here are real, court-approved examples of factors that can satisfy the dangerous requirement for securing a firearm. Behavioral indicators. Extreme or inappropriate nervousness. Not just fidgeting, but sweating profusely, avoiding eye contact, or having a trembling voice beyond what the court deems normal for a traffic stop. Conflicting or evasive answers. Where are you coming from? My friend's house. Which friend? A friend on Maple Street. I didn't ask for the street, I asked for the name. That perceived inconsistency can be cited. Invoking your rights aggressively. While you have the absolute right to remain silent, some courts have suggested that an unprovoked, hostile declaration of, "I know my rights, pig," at the beginning of a stop could contribute to an officer's safety concern. This is very different from a calm, later invocation. Contextual and environmental factors. Time of stop. 2 a.m. carries a different danger presumption than 2 p.m., unfairly or not. Location of stop. A high crime area, as statistically defined by the police department, is a major factor. Your quiet suburb might be 1 block away from a district they've labeled as such. Visible clues. A bulge under clothing consistent with a weapon. Furtive movements, reaching toward the floorboard, leaning over as if to hide something as the officer approaches. Information from the stop itself. The officer ran your plates before the stop. Did your vehicle come back associated with a prior arrest? Does your license show an old, non-extraditable warrant from another state? The crucial takeaway. The combination of a lawful traffic stop plus knowledge of a firearm plus 1 or 2 of these secondary factors will, in most courtrooms, justify the officer's decision to secure the weapon. Refusing the officer's request to secure it may, in and of itself, be viewed as suspicious and dangerous behavior. My strong advice: if an officer asks to secure your firearm during a routine stop, comply. Do not argue. Do not make a stand on the asphalt. The legal battle, if necessary, happens later in a courtroom, not in the dynamic, high-stress environment where an officer's fear is given immense deference. Your goal is to de-escalate and get through the stop safely. Part 2. Your pre-stop preparedness and the critical disclosure decision. Your strategy begins long before you see the lights. You must know the law of the state you are in, and it falls into one of 3 categories. Duty to inform, proactive disclosure states like Ohio, Michigan, and Texas. When asked for ID, you must also present your LTC. The moment the officer approaches, you must say something like, "Good evening, officer. For your safety, I want to inform you that I am a licensed concealed carry holder and I have a firearm on my person / in the vehicle." Failure to do this is itself a crime. Duty to inform, if asked. Reactive truthfulness, many states fall here. You are not required to volunteer the information, but if the officer directly asks, "Do you have any weapons in the car?" you must answer truthfully. A lie here is a felony in most jurisdictions. No duty to inform. Constitutional silent states like Indiana, Alabama, and Vermont. You are not required to volunteer, and you're not legally obligated to answer if asked. You may respond, "Officer, I am exercising my right to remain silent." Remember, you can never lie. If you choose to remain silent, you must do so unequivocally. Strategic consideration. Even in a no duty to inform state, if the firearm is visible or likely to be discovered, e.g., you're wearing an OWB holster under an open jacket, preemptively informing the officer can be a tactical move to reduce surprise and build a slight rapport. It's a judgment call. Part 3. The script. Navigating the stop after the firearm is secured. This is where your rights are truly won or lost. The firearm is now out of the equation on the cruiser roof. The officer's goal now is often to obtain your consent to search or to develop reasonable suspicion of other crimes to extend the stop. Your mantra: provide required documents, then invoke rights calmly and repeatedly. The required trio: driver's license, vehicle registration, proof of insurance. Have them ready, hand them over. This is your only legal obligation for a simple traffic violation. The fishing expedition begins. Officer, so where are you headed tonight? You, calmly, I'm exercising my right to remain silent, officer. Officer, come on, Just making conversation. Where are you coming from? You. I don't answer questions. Am I being detained? Or am I free to go? Officer. Changes tack. Is there anything illegal in the car? Drugs, weapons, large amounts of cash. You. This is critical, officer. I do not consent to any searches of my vehicle or my person. Officer. Using pressure, why not? If you've got nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. Only people with something to hide refuse a search. You. The broken record. I respect your job, but I do not consent to any searches. I am continuing to remain silent. Am I free to leave? Why I don't know is a dangerous answer. Never say, no, there's nothing illegal. You cannot be 100% certain. Did a friend borrow your car last week? Did you accidentally leave a legally prescribed but old bottle of medication in the console? A stray round of ammunition under the seat? You create liability for yourself. I do not consent is a legal shield. No, could be a perjury trap. Invoking, am I free to leave? This is your legal checkpoint. Once the purpose of the stop, writing the ticket/warning, is complete, the detention must end. Asking this question forces the officer to either let you go or articulate a new, valid reason for extending your detention. If he says you're not free to go, ask, can you please tell me the specific reason I'm being detained? This creates a record. Part 4. The critical safety protocol. Never handle the gun. This point cannot be overstressed. Under no circumstances should you physically manipulate your firearm in the officer's presence. If asked to hand it over, officer, for safety and to avoid any misunderstanding, I will not handle the firearm. It is located in a holster on my right hip / in the center console. You are welcome to retrieve it yourself. My hands will remain on the steering wheel. At the stop's conclusion, officer, may I please have my firearm returned before I go? For safety, could you please place the unloaded firearm and the magazine in my trunk / on the back seat? Do not let him hand it to you. Do not start reassembling or holstering it while he is there. Wait until he is driven away completely. Part 5. The aftermath. Your rights are intact. Carrying a firearm does not void your Fourth Amendment rights. The officer cannot search your car simply because you have a gun. He needs either your consent, which you have denied, or probable cause, e.g., he smells marijuana, sees a bag of pills in plain view. Your calm, persistent invocation of your rights is the strongest defense against an unlawful search. If the stop ends with a ticket or warning, you have successfully navigated a high-pressure situation. If it escalates into an unlawful search or detention despite your objections, you have preserved a perfect record for your defense attorney to challenge every action the officer took. Final thought. This isn't about being anti-police. It's about being pro-Constitution. Good officers understand and respect citizens who know their rights. It's the ones who become angry or coercive when you invoke those rights that you needed them against the most. If you've watched this far, you're committed to being prepared. If this detailed breakdown was valuable, please like, subscribe, and share this video. In the comments, let me know what scenarios you'd like broken down next. But above all, remember this. In the face of pressure on the side of that dark road, your most powerful tools are your knowledge and your calm, unyielding voice. Always remain silent. Always deny consent. Always plead the fifth.